Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day. This is day 3 of 30-day interview preparation series to help you get landed to the data analyst job. So make sure to stay tuned till the end of this video. Without much delay, let's get into the video. Day 3, we will be covering the most commonly asked interview questions in the skill set Python. So you must be familiar with the Python and Excel concepts, and we have already covered SQL and Power BI. So thought to create the third day onto Python. So let's start with Python questions which are being most commonly asked. Now the first and foremost question that can be asked is, what are the advantages of Python for data analyst when compared to Excel? Now, when you have worked with Excel, you must be familiar that Excel has certain limitation for the amount of data set that it can handle. So you can start with the same limitation that Excel has certain limitation to handle the amount of data set. However, Python can handle any large amount of data set, that too efficiently, enabling the full automation of ETL processes, offering the reproducibility through the scripts, and providing access to the advanced statistical and machine learning libraries. That includes NumPy, Pandas, Scikit-learn, Seaborn, Matplotlib, etc. So that's how you can answer this particular question. Now coming to the next question, what is the standard convention for importing the Pandas library? So you can start by saying the syntax itself, which is import pandas as PD. What is PD in this particular case? PD is basically universally accepted alias for pandas, which makes code more readable and concise. So that's how you can answer this particular question. Now comes the third question, which is most commonly asked interview question. What is list and what is the difference between list and tuples, and when would you use one over the other? That is the most commonly asked interview question, and you will encounter even when you are fresher or experienced candidate. So make sure to prepare it. So lists are mutables. What does it mean? That elements in the list can be changed. Tuples are immutable, and the contents of the elements in the tuples can are fixed and cannot be changed. So that's how you have to answer for the difference. Now for the next question in the same one is, when would you use one over the other? So we will be using the list for the dynamic collection. For example, shopping cart item that gets changed dynamically. So we can take example of that for the list use case. Now we will be using tuple for static and constant data. So for example, the coordinates. So we can take the example of that for the tuples. Now the next question is the pandas data frame, and how is it different from Python list of list. So if you have been preparing for the data analyst and you have prepared Python, I have already explained what all skill sets and from where you can prepare these skill sets. So you must have gone to the pandas tutorial. If not, please go through that. So pandas and numpy are one of the major libraries that are being asked in the interview rounds. So pandas data frame is basically our 2D label data structure, like two-dimensional label data structure. It basically works like a SQL table or like a spreadsheet, providing the labels or the column names, and advancing the optimized methods for the data manipulation and analysis, unlike the list of lists that we have in Python. That's how you can explain this particular question. Now comes the next question. So there can be basic question that can be asked from the Python pandas data frame or the series, or from the numpy library. So a few of them I have mentioned in this particular video. The advanced level ones we will be discussing in the coming videos. So how do you create a basic pandas data frame from a Python dictionary? So first of all, we have to import the library, right? So we will be using that same line, that import pandas as PD. Now to create the data structure, first of all, data frame, first of all, we will be taking a any variable wherein we will be containing the data set in it. So for example, I have taken data equals to name, in which we have A and B, and then we have taken age, in which the ages are for A and B is 25 and 30. Now to create a tabular structure or to create a data frame for the same, we will be using pd.data frame. and we will be passing our data into the same, like or variable into the same. So that's how we can explain this particular concept or this particular code. So that is for the question number 6. Now coming to question number 7, that is basically what is the importance of NumPy library in the Python data stack. So NumPy is one of the majorly used libraries for the data analyst or otherwise also. So NumPy provides powerful, highly optimized support for large multidimensional arrays and matrices. So Pandas, now comparing with Pandas, that basically builds upon the NumPy arrays, benefiting from their speed and efficiency for the numerical operations that we perform. So that's how you can explain this particular question. Now comes the 8th question, which is how do you check the data types and the number of null values in the data frame, right? So for that we have dot info method or the function in it, in the data frames that we can utilize. So for that also we will be importing the library first, which is import pandas as pd, somewhat like that, and then we can utilize dot info function, which can be df.info. So it basically provides a summary of the data frame, including the data types and count of the non-null entries for each column. So that's how you can answer this particular question. Now comes the 9th question, which is write a code to read a CSV file named salesdata.csv into the pandas data frame. So for this particular question, you can answer it in somewhat like d equals to, again we will be doing the same functionality that we did earlier, like we will be importing the libraries and utilizing the data frame. So then we will be going ahead with saying df equals to pd dot read csv. Read csv is the function, and we will be passing our file name into the same, which is salesdata.csv. So that's how we can answer this particular question. Now coming to the 10th question, which is explain what mutability means in the context of Python objects. So mutability basically refers to whether an object's state or its contents, I would say, can be changed after it has been created. So that's how we have to explain that. Lists are basically mutable, integers, strings and tuples are immutable. So that's how we can explain this particular question or the concept of mutability in the context of Python objects. Now, how do you access the first 5 rows of the pandas data frame? That is also one of the most commonly asked interview question, that they can ask either the first 5 rows or the last 5 rows for the of a pandas data frame. So for that we have a function dot head and dot tail. So we can utilize the same. So we can say it like df dot head, and whatever number of rows that we want to fetch, we can pass that number into the same function. So I think that's it about this particular video. I hope it was helpful, and thank you so much for being here till the very end of this video. I will be uploading the next day video very soon, so make sure to stay tuned.